It's another Extra Bases with Bristol and Booth. And Jeremy, I'm wondering if we can get through an entire podcast without using the phrase lineup construction. Is that possible?
Well, you just did it.
Oh, dang.
So, let's try not to do it after that.
So it is May 1st, Wednesday, as we are recording this podcast. Yesterday, which was Tuesday, we were at the ballpark and the news came down about José Abreu being demoted, being sent to what I would call extended spring training. I don't know if that's what they use that term anymore, but I give José Abreu credit for accepting it because I shouldn't say that. There's some guys perhaps that might not be in that mindset, but he wants to get better and be better for him and the ball club. And so I give him a lot of credit. The big question we were asking around the ballpark is, can this guy be fixed? Because the Astros say, well, the metrics show that the bat speed's there, but the results are an entirely different animal when you're hitting 099. Uh-oh, there's Jeremy's response.
The metrics show the bat speed's there. I think it was the metrics said the timing's off, right? Is that what it was?
No, the scout in Dana Brown said the timing was off.
I thought Joe Espada said that too.
Yeah, they both said it. Listen, it's a united front because they all had a meeting with Jose, and listen, they all had their talking points, which I don't blame them. I mean, it's a sensitive time and a sensitive topic with a guy who has had a lot of success in this game. So they should do him right. They should do José Abreu right. No?
No, I'm just, to me, when somebody gives you answers like the timing's off.
They said the timing, and then Dana, which you may have seen I posted, was the trigger, something about the trigger.
Well, the reason why that stuff changes for somebody who's hit as long as they have is because the body's not responding properly. It's because the brain knows the body isn't responding properly. And so it makes adjustments to try to respond properly, right? So if you're in a position where the metrics aren't working right, or say the timing's off or the triggers, how do you have this many at-bats, this many quality seasons and not know your swing? I don't want to hear that. Let's just say it what it is. He's an older guy in his career. It's an overpaid contract. Let me say that again. You guys can't say that, meaning the people that are presenting the United Front, but we can. And I'll tell you this, it's a bad contract. It's overpaid. It's at least 1 year too long. Okay. And you got a situation where it arrived at the right time last year in the postseason, which is great, but the swing's entirely different than then as well. It's a little forced. It's way too short to the baseball. There's no length to get any kind of strength out of it. He's become a slap hitter that's strong, very strong. And if you're that type of guy and you're not able to generate any kind of authority through the baseball, you're not able to produce runs, you can't be protected. Going back to extended spring instead of Sugarland says something to me because it puts him close to home. Puts him near his house, puts him in his bed in Miami, and allows him to drive to the ballpark in theory.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if Abreu can't figure it out down there. And down there, they're going to have guys throwing really hard, like really, really hard, okay? And with no idea where it's going because that's what rookie ball and A-ball guys do.
Well, they're not rookie. They're guys that are waiting for full season. Okay, they are. They're A-ball guys.
They're rookie
You're right.
ball and
You're
A-ball
right. You're
guys
right.
who
I'm sorry.
don't
You're
have a
right.
home.
You're right.
And what they're going to do is they're going to throw 98. And it's going to be all over the map. And he's going to have to sit in and lock in and get at bats and do that type of stuff on a rehab assignment basically down there and see what happens when he comes out of it. If his bat speed is fine, we'll know by what he does down there. He's going to get fastballs. If the bat speed is not fine, we're going to know that too because he's not going to hit any fastballs. So we'll find out what the metrics say, which, by the way, I love that answer because now that we've just talked through this, the metrics better add up when it's over, or I'm coming for the metrics. Okay. So when it turns out what this is going to be, is Abreu salvageable? Yeah. Did they use him wrong from the beginning this year? Also, yeah. Is it something that it doesn't work and maybe he says, screw it, I'm going home? Possibly. I don't think he's the type of guy that wants to play for $19.5 million and hit 099. I don't think that he's that type of guy. I think he's got more pride than that. So for me, if it doesn't work In a way, you come back and he serves first baseman. I wouldn't be surprised if he's there and retires.
You led me down this road of lineup construction again. Basically,
That's 2 for you.
Your point, even at the beginning of the season, was you got to protect guys, and perhaps Abreu, not to say that it would change anything, but he wasn't being properly. Yeah, there just wasn't any protection. He wasn't being properly protected.
When you have guys making out the lineup that assume all things are equal and everybody's the same, that's the way it's going to happen. They're not looking at father time. They're not looking at approach. They're looking at mental wavelengths or balance or who else is there. And so they're just doing that because that's what sounded good to them. By the way, since those guys that were making the lineup out, whoever those guys were, decided to pay attention and change, how's that offense doing? I know tonight at this point it was still 2-0. Up to tonight, seems like we've had 4 or 5 games in a row of swinging the bat pretty well, right? You know what that's called? Rhythm. It's called comfort. That's how that works out. And I would suggest that whoever decided to make the change and put their foot down, because that, believe me, that had to happen, continues to do exactly that because the team's better for it.
The Astros came into this season with this 3-headed monster when it comes to a bullpen. Abreu, Presley, Hader. It is amazing that thus far in the 2024 baseball season, the Houston Astros have 2 saves, and the Yankees, by comparison, lead baseball with 13 saves. St. Louis has 11, the Dodgers, Detroit has 11. Josh Hader has not been as advertised. From your eyes, from your lens, what are you seeing with Josh Hader? Is it stuff? Is it location? Is it a combination? Is it a combination?
Number one, Jason, relievers are volatile.
Relievers are volatile, people. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
Because if they weren't,
they'd be starters.
They'd be starters.
That's right. Number two, I don't trust Josh Hader. Stuff's what it is. I mean, you can close your eyes and listen to it. Stuff's what it is, right?
I did that in spring training.
Yeah, it's not hard to evaluate the stuff. So somebody with that type of stuff who's in a relief role is getting whacked around, it goes to something different, and it's usually something from the neck up. Not always. Not always. Sometimes it's mechanical, but it's usually from the neck up. Last night, Josh Hader pitched 2 innings. 33 pitches or so, I think is what I saw. And then today, it came out that he was saying that, yeah, he'll take the ball for 2 innings now. You know, no problem. He just didn't want to do it in San Diego because it didn't matter in arbitration. I don't care what it mattered for or what it didn't matter for. I care that when you're pitching for a team in a pennant race, you do what's asked of you. I care that when you're trying to win, you do what's asked of you. Now, this is a guy who didn't want to do any of that until started being talked about in the media a little bit, you know, about how he didn't want to take the ball in 2 innings and done this in San Diego. All of a sudden, he's taking the ball in 2 innings. That's a concern right there for me because it tells me you're not real convicted in what you're doing. That's number one. Now, I know that's a little damned if you do, damned if you don't. I get it, all right? But it doesn't change the premise. What's wrong with Josh Hader last night, speaking just to yesterday because relievers are volatile, was that the umpire squeezed him. He just took away the bottom part of the strike zone, and Hader stuff isn't good enough to get guys out at the top that have a good approach. If a guy's swinging uphill and he's chasing, he's coming off his legs, he's doing all these things that don't necessarily show up in the analytics, but show up with the eye test and watching the body mechanics, he's going to get hit the top of the strike zone. Hader needs to pitch at the bottom, even with the 97, 98 that he's got. So once the umpire took that away, and I counted 3 pitches, maybe 4 at the bottom of the zone. One was down and away, one was in the middle, and he just didn't get them. He had to go up in the strike zone. And when you do that and you throw hard, guys are going to set their tempo up a little bit, hit the fastball, be a little shorter. Those who know how to hit hard. That's what happened.
Josh Hader speaking on Wednesday. I was not at the ballpark. My guess is because Josh Hader went 2 innings and his history, the reporters, the media in the clubhouse at that time before the game, pregame. He was there. Hey, Josh, can we talk to you? And that's where all this came from.
Yep.
Unfortunately, like I said, I was not there today.
Yep.
Typically, I try to be there at least twice a week, but
Yep.
wasn't there for this game. But it's interesting to hear that because I can remember Garrett Cole, and I'm not trying to compare guys, but remember when Garrett Cole was here and in the World Series and he was waiting to get the ball? He wanted that ball and was disappointed because he didn't get that ball.
Different animal. Garrett Cole's a different animal. Wherever you're going with this, drive through that point. Because Garrett Cole is a different animal. That's a World Series winner. That's a champion. That's a guy you want in the front of the rotation in your clubhouse 100% of the time. 100% of the time. And the Astros lost that World Series because they didn't go to him.
Partly, yeah. Yeah.
Okay? Because the analytics, the metrics.
Said Will
Said
Harris
not to.
on 18 appearances
I
in a
apologize.
row.
Please drive right down wherever you were going with a Mack truck, because that's a gigantic point to make when you're talking about heart, hustle, and soul. And that has a lot to do with the bullpen. You got to have that. You displace people for this guy. You move Presley up to the eighth inning, and you've got Abreu, who's probably was the closer in waiting, in the 7th spot now. I'm not sure I like that, especially for a guy I don't trust. I don't care how much you're paying him. You know, when McCullers comes back, it's gonna be the same. Not go down this other.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the same conversation because
Don't worry, it's not the phrase line of construction, so you're good.
that's 3. It's not the same deal with Lance, because he doesn't belong in the rotation either and hasn't for a long time. Funny thing is, I'll say this as loud as I can for anybody who's out there paying attention, and I'm fairly certain you are. When it comes to what we're talking about here, every scout in the league, and I do mean every scout in the league, says that McCullers should be in the bullpen. It probably should happen 6 years ago. Now, when did you and I start this? Was that
18.
You sure?
After 17, after the World Series, we did 18.
What year is this then? 2024?
Yeah, I'm looking at the little calendar here on the computer screen. Now, I will say I've talked to Lance about this, and Lance has said I'm a starter.
That's great. That's great.
Now, that was a number of years ago that I've talked to Lance about it.
Listen, you can feel whatever you want. You don't tell me what to do. I'm paying you. If I'm paying you to play and I'm paying you to be productive, do you want to win or do you want to just be a starter? It's like Hader pitching the 9th inning. I don't have any use for that. Now, Lance is a different makeup guy. He wants to rock. He wants to go out and compete. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't. Yeah. I'm saying he belongs in the bullpen, and it creates a different conversation again. Matter of fact, this was scouts yesterday we were talking to that said, hey, has he even thrown 100 innings in a season in the last few years? And went right down the list of it. Why am I bringing this up now? Because that wasn't the question. The question is, what happens when you get McCullers back? Urquidy's not that far away. Javier's not that far away. Not sure where Garcia's at. Probably still a couple months away. But you're about to
Garcia and McCullers are in the same
time.
I would say.
You're about to get your guys back here. You're about to have a full rotation. You know who else goes to the bullpen? Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown goes to the bullpen. You've got Verlander, Javier, Valdez, Urquidy, and I feel like I'm missing somebody. Oh, Blanco.
Blanco's not leaving that rotation.
Nope. That's your 5. And then your bullpen is Brown, McCullers. Well, we won't count him yet. Brown, Abreu, Presley, Hader.
And then the Space Cowboys. Oh, well, Montero.
So that's 5. That's 10.
Yeah, and this Seth Martinez is around.
For now. Whatever. See that?
Taylor Scott.
If we're struggling for that.
Brandon Belak.
Okay, so but all 3 of those guys, or 2 of those 3 need to be in AAA. And so when you get McCullers and Garcia back, McCullers is in the bullpen, and Garcia probably goes in the bullpen because when he comes back too, and he piggybacks with Urquidy. You're not going to find much better rotations and bullpen depth at that time. What's Hader going to do then? What do you do with the roles then? You can't have a revolving door all the time. You got to have something. So you got to have guys settled. Presley's not used to pitching the 8th inning. This is a John Wetland, Mariano Rivera thing for a guy that's not Mariano Rivera. Turns it over to Abreu, I'm believing it. Turns it over to Hader, I ain't believing it. To me, Hader's an 8th inning guy. I don't care what he wants, because I don't trust Hader in the 9th because I don't know what I'm getting. I don't know if he's going to be mentally locked in, he's going to get lit up, or if he in the 8th inning, I got another shot. There's some closers that believe, or some guys believe pitching, and this isn't commonly said, but, and I'm not saying I subscribe to this, I've heard this concept. Some people believe you throw your closer in the eighth, like hitting your pitcher eighth in the lineup, like La Russa used to do years ago, and some guys did in St. Louis. You know why? Because that way, if something happens, you have another shot in the ninth inning. Some other guys believe you tandem close because saves are less important today. I know they're important in arbitration, but in today's modern bullpen, today's analytics, saves are less important, just like wins. Wins are less important. It's about team wins. Not necessarily about individual accomplishments. Back when when those things had matter for your contracts, yeah, Trevor Hoffman and Rivera and even all the guys we're talking about, Billy Wagner, it was saves. It was saves. It's not saves today. It's team wins. It's different metrics than the traditional ones that we have that these guys are valuing in arbitration and valuing what they're doing. So if I'm looking at this bullpen, I have Abreu, Presley, and I have Hader lined up for 7, 8, 9, but not the way they got it. Presley's still my guy in the ninth inning.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Despite everything which has gone on?
Depends he's pitching in the eighth inning. He's pitching in the eighth right now. We don't even know what happens in the ninth. He's my guy in the ninth right now until he loses it. Now, if he loses it, fine, but he didn't lose it. If you want to push Presley up, you push him to the seventh. You know why? Because then you go Presley, Hader, or Abreu.
Abreu is.
I'll say it again. Presley, Hader, Abreu. And if you really want to shorten this rotation and save the bullpen, have guys throwing fire, like I said, put Hunter Brown back in that bullpen. And then you've got a bunch of guys coming out at any given time that you can go right, and just start knocking people out.
And that's, I think, what obviously the front office thought during this off season. And
well, it's on the back of the baseball card.
Heard that. But that's what Dana Brown and the crew are waiting for. They're waiting for all these pieces to be together on one active roster. That's what they're waiting for. Can we bring back Pump the Brakes?
Yeah, we should.
So I'm looking at the standings. The Kansas City Royals, by wins at this very moment, are among the best teams in baseball. Jeremy, are the Royals, with their 19 wins, one of the best teams in baseball? Or are we pumping the brakes?
We're pumping the brakes. It was a good month. Now it's month number 2. Okay. There's a lot of stuff that happens throughout the season that ebbs and flows. I'm quite certain is using our own city, our own fans on X, which are very, very vocal, by the way. And I do mean vocal.
They love you.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's a fun relationship.
It is.
We like to have. I was at the ballpark. We were at the ballpark yesterday. I saw somebody eyeballing me.
Really?
Oh, I caught it.
But didn't say anything. Yeah.
Isn't that kind of the same thing that you do on X anyway?
That's true. That's true.
We're gonna eyeball and hide behind an avatar and stand behind whatever.
Well, they're very vocal at certain points, but then at other times, don't hear much.
One guy said, "Hey, do we owe Jeremy Booth an apology?" And there was like, "Never." And I was like, "I don't need your apology. I knew I was right when I said it." Okay, so when it goes down to our fans here that were freaking out and panicking and fire Espada and Dana's terrible. One guy called him, and I'm paraphrasing, a scout on a power trip or washed up scout, and I forget what it's so ridiculous. Sometimes it's like you look at it, you laugh. One time somebody said something that was so off the wall. I laughed so hard I cried. I'm not kidding. I was tears were pouring out of my eyes. It was so stupid. But back to what I'm saying. It ebbs and flows and things come and go. And
did you see this text that just came in?
No, I just saw who sent it though.
Oh, this is it. Anyways.
It's inside joke.
Yeah.
It's inside joke. Anyway,
can we? So you are pumping the brakes on the Royals. I got to get this train back on the track.
Let's redirect it. Yeah, I'm pumping the brakes.
It's funny. You look at the lineup, man. I mean, you got Bobby Witt at 320, 914 OPS, Salvador Perez. But you look up and down this lineup. It's not a lineup that's going to. It's not a lineup that's going to intimidate anyone, and they've won 19 games. Seth Lugo is 5-1.
Yeah. I don't think it's sustainable though. I don't think it's sustainable. I think it's something that they're a good team. I think they've earned that right, and they're going to be better. They're a scouting first organization, by the way. You know, and it doesn't mean they don't do analytics, but they're scouting first organization. I think they're going to be better as the year goes on and better next year, but they're not ready yet.
Also on Tuesday night, a 2-hour delay, Diamondbacks and Dodgers, due to a swarm of bees, a beehive, and they had to bring in a bee specialist who removed the bees, and then the crowd gives him a standing ovation. He then throws out the first pitch, a ceremonial first pitch. And on Wednesday, Topps has introduced a baseball card of this bee specialist.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Huh.
Now, which brings me to this. What is the strangest delay that you've experienced in your time in professional baseball, either as a player or a coach?
Strangest delay?
Yeah. I've got to think that in your time in the Bush leagues,
thank you for that.
The Can-Am League,
Yeah.
the Mexican League,
Yeah.
the Northern League.
I mean, strangest. I don't know that I saw a whole lot of strange things. I think,
What?
yeah,
You were so locked in.
I was focused, man.
Now, granted, I did not give you a heads up on what I was going to bring up here. So,
Okay.
So you weren't like there when Butch Hobson took a base away, and
I mean, I've seen that stuff all the time. I don't know if I count that as a
you
delay.
weren't there, huh?
Nah, but
I've seen Andy Etchebarren do it. I've seen Butch Hobson do it.
I saw stuff I saw that sticks with me is when we're in Madison, Wisconsin, and there was a gigantic lightning storm, and we were playing through the lightning storm. And Dave Kennedy, who was hitting at the time, lightning struck behind center field, and he walked in the middle of the pitch and almost wore it in his ribs when he was watching the lightning just to get out of the box. Right. And so that delays like that stick with you. It was more about how that happened, because we're all like, is he going to get hit? JD Drew was playing with us at that time. He turned around and said, "Did you just see?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to." We all got out of there and got on the bus.
Wow. Was that the Madison Black Wolf?
That was Black Wolf.
The Black Wolf.
Yeah.
And you were a St. Paul Saint.
I was a Saint.
Well, tell me, everybody, is Jeremy a Saint?
That's a fun one.
Yeah, that could be Pump the Brakes next week.
I think we should take votes on that one.
Yeah.
Privately.
Mm-hmm.
Privately.
Yeah. I can tell people what the text was. So I guess this was shown on the White Sox broadcast tonight.
Or MLB Network. I can't tell which.
Catcher arm strength leaders this season. Top 5 at number 4, Francisco Alvarez, 82.9 miles per hour. Joey Bart, Shane Langoliers. Yeah, sorry. Yainer Diaz coming in at number 2 from the Astros. And number 1, Corey Lee at 85.4 miles an hour. He is your arm strength leader among all catchers in Major League Baseball. And I know what Jeremy's going to say. I told you, because I could pull up the clip. But why do I even need to do it? Because I can just tell you. You said he's power over hit, throw over catch.
How's that working out?
I don't know. Ask the White Sox.
Yeah. It was a good trade for Houston.
Kendall Graveman.
Yeah. He's still down too, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
He's out for the year?
Yeah, probably. I saw him in spring training, and saw him in spring training, and his I can tell the story. It's fine. So he had one of those little roller bags, and the telescoping handle was busted on it.
Yep.
And for some reason, and he was like, "Well, geez, what am I going to do?" You know, I for some reason, I don't know where I saw it, but sometimes if you go in from, like, you open it up and you can kind of guide it in.
Yeah.
Sure enough, it worked. And I was Kendall Graveman's MVP at that very moment.
All right. If he's not back here, look for the Kansas City Royals to sign him. You know why?
Why?
They've got his 2 college teammates in Mississippi State, Dustin Renfro, or Hunter Renfro, and Adam Frazier, playing there. Adam Frazier and Hunter Renfro hit back-to-back in Mississippi State in 2013 because somebody in this room was a Midwest cross-checker from the Mariners and screamed for both of them. So I can just tell you right now.
All 3 of them or just both of them?
You know, I was light on Graveman as a starter. I was. Doesn't
I
mean-
have that report, and we've done it
Yeah,
before.
it doesn't mean that I didn't like him. I
Yeah.
liked him. I didn't love him. I loved Frazier. I put him in the second round, and I loved Renfroe. And Renfroe, I think went right behind us. We picked DJ Peterson at 12, and Renfroe went 13. How's this for a draft? And I saw Mac. I'm so sorry, Mac. I have to do this to you. I saw Mac, who's also, by the way, in Kansas City. Tom McNamara. Great evaluator.
That was 12 draft, right?
2012. Yeah. No, it was 2013.
13.
12, we took Zanino. Mike
Yep.
Zanino. Okay. So it was from when we picked going backwards. It was DJ Peterson at 12. It was Renfroe at 13. I want to say it was an arm at 14. I don't remember which. JP Crawford went 16. Tim Anderson went 17. And when that happened, I left the room. I was done. My whole list. I was like, in the first round, they're all gone. And then Frazier went like the 5th round, maybe the 6th round. And I want to say Hoskins went the next year in the 5th or 6th round. So 2013.
You had DJ Peterson at 12, Hunter Renfroe at 13.
Yeah.
Ahead of you was Dominic Smith
Yeah. We
to
weren't
the
taking-
Mets.
we weren't taking it.
Reese McGuire at 14.
That was the guy.
Braden Shipley at
No, we
15.
weren't taking either one of those guys.
JP Crawford at 16.
Right.
Tim Anderson at 17. Boy, Chris Anderson, right-handed pitcher, Jacksonville,
We weren't
by
taking
the
him either.
Dodgers at 18.
Yeah.
Marco Gonzalez,
He was in a mix. You know, North
Jonathan Crawford,
Yeah, we weren't taking him.
20 with the Tigers. Who's that dude?
Nick Schufo.
Yeah.
We weren't taking him either.
Hunter Harvey?
Nope.
Chichi Gonzalez?
Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah?
Rangers guy. Earl Roberts.
Mm-hmm. Billy McKinney, Plano West, Christian Arroyo,
Royal we were on. Mac was on him.
Eric from Notre Dame.
Jagailo. We
Yeah.
liked him. We liked him. We thought he was an Eric Hinsky type of guy, and he never made it.
And then Philip Irvin, outfielder, final pick in the
in the
of that.
first round.
Of the
Yeah,
first
so
round.
but our range, we had a few guys right around us that we could have taken. We took DJ, got hit in the face, and the rest is history. But Kendall Graveman went in the 8th round that year, maybe.
I'd have to look.
Want to see my scout's memory? Hey, I'm bitter and washed up. Let's see if this works. I'm gonna say he went in the 8th round and Frazier went in the 6th.
Kendall Graveman, 8th round.
And Adam Frazier?
Oh, you had to ask me that one, huh?
I'm gonna say Adam Frazier went in the 6th round to the Pirates.
6th round, Pirates.
Man, if only I could, one of these days I'm gonna wake up and do something in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Yeah. All right. Well, 3 times we mentioned
Me. Next time I'm gonna wear a construction hat.
I think we probably have one somewhere
Well,
around here.
Yeah.
You can write lineup on the front of it.
Yeah, I can. All right, yeah. I'll do that. And I'll put
Oh my gosh, that's
I
that
got
is,
all kinds of ideas now for stickers. I'll wear a construction helmet. Yeah, next time. Because sometimes I do need to wear a helmet for protection. So
Yeah.
that'll work out real well.
All right, everybody. That's going to wrap up another Extra Bases with Bristol and Booth. And as always, leave your comments, concerns, and everything else below. And periodically, we check them. Periodically.
Periodically, Jason checks them and tells me what you're saying. Okay, periodically.
I did not check this most recent one, so I didn't even look.
I still haven't even. Yeah, we're 0 for 2.
Yeah. All right, everybody. That's going to do it. Till next time, we'll see you right here.